Today we'll be talking about HTML elements or HTML tags. So we'll be talking about the HTML opening tag and the HTML closing tags. So I want to open this file. Now here, HTML elements are made up of two types of tags. We have the opening tag, which is structured in this way, and then we have the closing tag. Now, in a tag is what we call the tag name. The tag name explains the purpose of that particular word HTML element. For example, if we come to this place, we have the body. This is the body. Let's delete it and then write it out by ourselves. So we have the body. So this body is, let me give you a comment here. So this is the opening of the body tag. Now, inside, let's go back to the place. Now, this is what we call, then the name is what is called the tag name. Here, the tag name is the body. Now, the tag name tells us what the tag is all about or what the specific use of that particular tag. Now, just as I've said earlier, that the body helps us to display every content that we want to be visible, to the browser, everything that you want the user to see when the user comes to the website. Now, here I can say you are learning. Now, this is the content I want to be displayed on the web page. Now, at the end of your content that you want to be displayed is the closing of the tag. Now, as if you go back to this place, you see, for you to close a tag, you start with the left angled bracket, then a slash, then the name of the tag name, and then you end with the right angle bracket. That is the greater than sign. So then, just as I've explained earlier, so to close it, you use the left angled bracket, then slash the name, which is the body, and then the right angled bracket. So this is how, so this is the opening tag, this is the closing tag, this is the closing tag, then this is the opening tag. This is the content that you want to be visible within that particular word tag. Now, a tag basically has what we call attributes. A tag has attribute. For example, here we have lang, which is the type of language we are using, and the value here is what is English. So back to this image. So we have an attribute, then we have the attribute word value. Attribute basically are peculiar properties of that particular word element. Now, let's say for example, inside of this body, there are other HTML elements. For example, h1. Now, this h1, I want to give it an ID of main title. We call it main title. Now, this is an attribute. So this h1 has an attribute called ID. So if you go to this place, this is supposed to be an attribute name. So let me zoom down. So, oh sorry, this is supposed to be an attribute name of the attributes. Then what happened? So yeah, so this is the name of the attribute, which in this case is an ID. So we can also have a class attribute, for example. So I can say a class of heading or headings. So these are various attributes. So this is a type of attribute. This class is a type of attribute. This ID is also a type of attribute. Now, they are basically used to, create a kind of significance about or that particular word tag. Now, when you talk about ID, an ID is a type of attribute that is only peculiar to that particular word element. Now, no elements, now two elements are not expected to have the same word ID. So I cannot come here and have H2 that has the same ID as main title. It's not supposed to be, but they can have the same class because class is talking about category. They can be in the same category. So I can have um, H2 that are in the same class of headings, definitely. So I can call, let's say this is subtitle. We call this subtitle. We call this subtitle. And why you call this main title? So let's display it to the browser and see what we are getting. So we see the main title, then we have the subtitle. So here, remember what I told you that no two elements are expected to have the same ID. They can have the same class, which has to do with category. They can be in the same category of what headings, but they are not supposed to have the same identity. So this basically is for HTML opening and closing tags. So in summary, you're expected to know here that in order for you to write a HTML tag, a HTML tag has these following contents. The first one is the opening tag, which in this case, for example, the body, this is the opening tag. Now, the opening tag can have what attributes. We have seen examples of attributes here. We have seen ID attributes, which are used to give an identity to a particular word, HTML elements. Then we also have the class attribute, which we can also use to specify that HTML elements belongs to the same word classes. Then you also have the contents, which are the values that you place between the opening tag and the closing tag. And then we have the last one, which is the closing tag.